I'm here at Gen Con 2019. We are at the Funko booth, and I'm joined by Stephanie Straw.
Hi!
So we are looking at the Funkoverse board game. Now, most people might be familiar with Funko from the pop vinyl figures, but what they've done is they've made them a little bit smaller, and now we have a board game system.
They're about 3 inches. Yeah.
So Stephanie is going to tell us all about the games and the systems and what we can expect.
Yeah, sure. So the Funkoverse strategy game is the first game by Funko Games, and it's a strategy game. There are maps, different maps. This is double-sided, and different scenarios and characters that you can play with. So you can kind of choose your favorite combination there. We have this set up for a 2-character versus a 2-character game. If you and I were to play, and you would win probably. So there are 4 different scenarios, so this is double-sided, and the one that I'm going to show you is the flags scenario. So that's kind of like a capture the flags thing. And that goes with this map. So on this you'll see, it'll show you how to set everything up. So these tokens actually go in certain locations, and then there's a starting area for your characters. Notice that these have different bases. That's so that you know which character is yours. Because, for example, if we were both playing with Batman, you know, they would be your Batman versus my Batman.
Right.
We also have these flags. This is part of the capture the flag scenario. So how do we win, right? In a 2-figure versus 2-figure game, it's going to be 6 points. We'll win. So you'll finish out a round. If we both have 6, we'll keep going until someone has more. Again, probably you. So in a 3-figure game versus a 3-figure game, it's first to 10. There's more characters, more scoring. Yeah.
Makes sense.
So this is the capture the flag scenario. One of the ways that you can score points, these fragments, is being adjacent to one of these tokens. Adjacent is orthogonal or diagonal. Walls block adjacency. And you'll interact with that token. It then goes on your cooldown track, and you get a fragment, which I'll explain what interacting means whenever I go over character actions. So that is one way. Another way is, can I borrow Batgirl for a moment? Another way is to do a challenge, which is sort of the Funkoverse combat system. So if I do a challenge as the Joker against Batgirl and I am successful, Batgirl gets knocked down. If I do another challenge, or someone else does a challenge against a knocked down character, that character is then knocked out. She goes on the 1 on your cooldown track. On the 1 on your cooldown track. Those are Funko employees playing the game. So I'd go on the 1 on your cooldown track. Yeah. And then I would get a point. So that's challenging. And the third way is the flags. So you, as the goodies, want to get to my flag. Me, as the baddies, I want to get to your flag. If at the end of the round, after all of our characters are exhausted, if one of my characters is on or adjacent to the flag, then I get a point. The catch is the flags don't go away like the tokens do. So if I'm still there, I can keep gaining points. So those are all the 3 ways that you can gain points. Each of the characters have some basic actions that they can do. And we actually even include, so you can do a 3v3 game, even though there are only 4 figures. We include like a basic character. So it's a henchman for Harley Quinn and Joker, and a police officer for Batman and Batgirl. And that'll show you that card. It'll show you the basic actions you can take. So you can move. Moving is moving up to 2 spaces, like so. You can move diagonally. You can move back. You can do any sort of movement, orthogonally or diagonally. Now there are these walls, though, that you can see. You obviously can't move through a wall. And then these corners that jut out, you can't move past the corners like that or like that. So you can kind of see that on the map, that's not a legal move. You can move twice as your 2 actions. Any action you can duplicate. So there's no limit. You don't just have to do one of the other. Another one that you can do is challenge, which I kind of already talked about. Let me borrow Batgirl again. So a basic challenge, if I'm adjacent to a rival character, then I can do a basic challenge. And I will roll 2 dice for a basic challenge. That is a critical. So the successes for a challenger are the starbursts. And then a critical success can count for a challenger or the defender. So in this case, that I rolled that would be 3 successes. As the defender, your Batgirl, on the bottom left of your card, you have a shield. that is how many dice you'll roll. So Batgirl defends with 2 dice. So you would roll. So you actually defend. You have a 4, because the critical success counts for you too. So that's 3 plus 1 versus my just a 3. So you successfully defend. If we had tied, if I don't beat you, then I don't succeed. So so she's still standing then in that challenge. If for some reason I had knocked her down, and she is now knocked down, Batman can take the assist action to help stand her back up. So if Batman is adjacent to Batgirl, he can stand her up for 1 action. That's good because it prevents her from being knocked out when she's knocked down. And if Batman can't get to her for some reason, and she is knocked down, she can on her turn choose to rally, but it takes 2 actions to do that. So it's not a very great turn, but it does help her avoid being knocked out and your rival getting a point. So that's the rally action. The last action, pretty simple. Kind of like pressing the X or the A button on a video game is the interact. And so that's how you're going to take these tokens. As I said before, whenever you're adjacent, here I'll show the camera there. Whenever you're adjacent to a token, you can take the interact action, take it off, put it on your cooldown track. Those will move down the cooldown track throughout the game, so they'll come back into play. It'll come back on the board where it was to give you more chances to get points.
Right.
So those are the basic actions. And each of the characters have special abilities. So these are unique to the character.
Okay.
So the Joker has his own special abilities, as does Harley Quinn, Batgirl, and Batman. The way that you perform one of those is you take the matching token next to the ability, and it has a number, and you place it on that number on the cooldown track. For example, if I'm going to do, are you doing a flip kick? Yeah. If you're going to do a Batgirl flip kick, that's a 1 and blue. So you use the blue token and you put it on the 1 on the cooldown track. If you did a flying tackle, you would take that and you would put it on the 3 on the cooldown track. And so again, it kind of symbolizes how powerful the move is. So the more powerful the move, the longer it'll take to come back into play. The way that you get these tokens, so you'll notice that I have a little different setup than you. You have 2 blue, a red, and a silver, and I have 2 silver and 2 red. At the bottom right of your character card, it'll show you which tokens that character brings to the pool. And this is a shared pool, so any of the characters can use these tokens for their actions.
Gotcha.
For example, if you really liked the flying tackle move, you might pair her with characters that have blue tokens that'll bring to the shared pool, so you can do that more often.
So with the Batman, there is more synergy here because they have more access to the blue.
Right. If you like those blue abilities.
Right.
If you want to do that silver ability more, then you might pair her with someone that has more silver abilities. Yeah. So that's how the tokens work. On the bottom of the character card, there's also a passive ability that each character has, again, unique to that character. These can vary widely based on just kind of character personality, what we felt like was balanced for that character, etc. For example, Batman's passive ability gives him extra defense when he's adjacent to 2 or more rivals. So that allows him to really get in there and make some punches, but then also withstand if they try to retaliate.
Right.
So, and then Batgirl has one where she can move at the start of her turn as long as she's standing, so it gives her an extra move.
Right.
Yeah, gives her an extra way to do stuff. So that is the passive ability. So what does a turn look like?
Okay.
If I'm the first player, which the way you determine first player is you flip that. Okay, and I'm not first player. So the goodies are the first player. So if you're the first player, you'll choose one of your characters to activate. So you choose Batgirl, and then you take your 2 actions.
Okay.
After you take your 2 actions, she'll be exhausted. So yeah, you can do some example 2 actions of what that might look like. She might move maybe, or yeah.
So she can move diagonal, right? So we can go 1.
You can't go diagonal over that corner.
Oh, so we have to go 1.
Yeah.
And then 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's 1 action, and then she can take another action.
And we'll go, let's keep it simple. We'll go 1, 2 for now.
Yes.
Well, I can go 1, 2 now.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, perfect.
We'll go right in front.
Yeah, right up in Joker's face, yeah. So then she's exhausted. You put an exhaustion token on her to show that she's been played. And so then I would choose a character, I would take my actions, and we go back and forth until all of our characters are exhausted. Once they're all exhausted, we check, see if anyone's against the flags. I'm not on your flag, you're not on my flag. So we don't score any points that way. And then anything that's on the cooldown track would come off. If it's in the 1 area, you get it back into play. Tokens go back into play. this comes back on the board, and if you had any characters that got knocked out, those get to come back into play in your starting area.
So our 3 would slide down to 2.
It would slide down to 2.
Perfect.
Right.
Gotcha.
Yep, so that's how a turn works. And also, afterwards, the first player marker passes.
Right.
So if you went first the last round, then I would get to go first the next round.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you for explaining that to me.
Yeah.
I've got a few additional questions if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the first thing is, we're looking at Batman, but I've noticed around the room that we're seeing a lot of different other IPs that we can work with.
Yeah.
So can you talk about a little more about the other IPs that are involved?
Yeah, sure. So since they're all unique, each set is, really going to be a totally different game. Same core system. All of them are the same. All of them are standalone games, even the 2-packs.
Okay.
You do not need multiple packs to be able to play. Right out of the box, you can play them. But they have different maps, different scenarios, different play styles. So these, for example, the DC characters, they're real melee. They want to do some pows and some punches and stuff like that, although Batgirl does have a batarang. The items. There's 2 items in here. The items, the items come out of the figures, and you can actually give them to any figure.
Neat.
You don't have to remain thematic.
Right.
So the batarang comes in the set. You could, maybe Harley Quinn has the batarang.
Oh, okay.
Whenever you give an item to a character, it stays with that character, whether they're knocked out or knocked down.
Right.
So, but you do have lots of items to work with, and those are represented by this. It'll tell you how to use those. So they're mostly melee, except the batarang. But the Harry Potter, since they're casting spells, that's very ranged.
Right.
So you're introduced a lot more like line of sight rules and stuff like that. So it's not complicated, but you get to play around with some things at like a further distance. Golden Girls has a lot of buffs. They kind of help other characters, so they're really good support characters and go with other figures. And then Rick and Morty is, if you watch Rick and Morty, anything is possible with that. So yeah, they all kind of have their unique flavor, standalone, but you can pick your favorite map, favorite scenario, favorite characters, favorite combinations
and
play.
Match and go crazy if we'd like.
You could do whatever you like.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we wanted it to be really sandboxy, and even though we have rules for 3 characters versus 3 or 2v2, if you want to play with 4, 5 figures, there's really nothing to stop you from doing that. So we like the idea of people, and notice these are open. We don't have any reason for these to be open, but we like the idea of people potentially putting maps together, putting like this against the other the other Batman map or something, and just seeing how that might go.
Exactly.
So we think it'd be really cool if fans do like what they do with Funko stuff, and they kind of make it their own.
Right.
That's what we're really excited to see.
So when is this expected to hit retail?
It's actually available for pre-order right now.
Okay.
You can pre-order it through Target, Walmart, and GameStop. And then hobby stores can pre-order it through distribution.
Right.
And everybody will have it in stores October 1st, and it's going to be everywhere available. Hobby stores, comic shops, GameStop, Target, Walmart, yeah.
Perfect.
So October 1st, it could be yours. Well, it could be yours right now. You can buy it at Gen Con.
And for anyone who is at Gen Con, they'll be able to come line up and demo the games as well, or?
Yeah, we have this room where we're demoing here that you're in. We also have a booth where we're doing some quick demos out there. There is an opportunity to purchase at Gen Con. Certain registration slots for demos will allow you to be able to purchase, because unfortunately we have limited copies here.
Right.
We're getting them off the press as quick as we can. But yeah, you can have the opportunity to buy the game here. So.
Well, perfect. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
So if you are at Gen Con, you should definitely come try this game out. I think Stephanie did an amazing explanation, and I'm really excited to try it out. So
we're going to go play.
Yeah, we're going to go play. So Stephanie, thank you so much
for
joining us and helping us record some content.
Yeah.
Take care. Bye.